in it, and the rest of it's either non-factual or just a distortion of the truth. So the day that the day that the county line got into it, the county attorney, we were discussing the format of a contract that was written not by our county attorney, but by a gentleman that works for the Chamber of Commerce selling a building that belongs to the Putnam County Port Authority. And my question to him was very simple: who wrote the contract? And the short answer came back, I don't know. And when I said, you don't know, he tried to answer, and I said, I'm not asking a question, I'm just making a statement. But we do have some challenges in the county right now that we need to get addressed. And some of it has to do with previous commissioners and previous commissions and previous administrators and attorneys. And some of it is the fact that you've got a new administrator, a fairly new attorney, very new board. I think the longest tenured person is Larry Harvey. Everybody else has got 3 years or less. So that's a challenge. And it's not creating an uphill battle for us, it's creating opportunities for us. And today we actually had a very good, very productive BOCC meeting, as well as a 4-hour workshop. I think Bill Pickens said it's probably the longest one that he's sat through. We got a lot done. We're engaging each other. We're not leaving anything on the table. We're not taking no for an answer. There's some give and take. There's some pushing and shoving going on, not physically, but yeah. But at the end of the day, the taxpayers are going to be the ones that come out on top of this. Today we had discussions about Drayton Island. A lady came in from Drayton Island regarding a road that was in there, and whether or not the road belongs to the county or the folks that live on the island. And I asked a question to the county attorney. I said, does past practices prevail? And the answer was yes. Because somewhere during the conversation, someone said the county had been maintaining this road. So at that point, the road belongs to the county. What we now have to do is figure out how to get that road brought into the county maintenance system, and then how often it's going to be maintained. A lot of people are upset to find out that the roads that they live on are not in the county maintenance system, and they thought they were, or they're in the county maintenance system as a Class 2 road, which means they're repaired as requested when available. So if you live on a dirt road and you make a request and there's not equipment available that day, week, or month, it may take a while before you get it taken care of. So it all comes down to tax dollars. Today, I talked in length about our Port Authority. So we have a Putnam County Port Authority, which was established in 1967, and it's really not been utilized by the county a whole lot. But one of the things I discovered about a month ago was the Port Authority has a water utility. We buy water from the city of Palatka and resell it in the barge port area in the Georgia Pacific. So I proposed a question to everybody today. Why can't we buy electricity and resell it? Why can't we buy gas in the Palatka Gas Authority and resell it? Why can't we have our own utility authority? By doing that, we would be able to collect revenue on those utilities, which would come in lieu of ad valorem assessments. This is just revenue that we're leaving on the table right now. I personally know that the Palatka Gas Authority has gas in East Palatka almost to 100. East River Road has gas going down it past the curve. We've got out in Francis down Highway 19. But we're not taking advantage of a lot of things that we can. So, you guys are wanting to know what I think of my first few months in office. I think they're great. I love a fight. I love a fair fight. I'm a very quick study of a lot of the issues that are being brought in front of us. And what's fun is the issues are not new issues. They're old issues. They're just getting a new spin put on them. So today, Julianne Young is our new General Services Director, was talking to us about what request for proposal she had coming in the pipeline, and she mentioned insurance. And I said, wait a minute, insurance? I thought we were going to discuss it at a strategic planning session. We've yet to have a strategic planning meeting. We're 2 months into the year. I said, if you're putting an RFP out in less than 10 days for insurance, shouldn't we be discussing it? And the conversation broke out for about 45 minutes regarding insurance. And it's health insurance to the employees. We're looking at going to be self-funded, which is going to save money for the employees and for the county. But things like this, the little nuances that we're dealing with, and learning how to work with each other are working out well. So I really do enjoy being a commissioner, and I enjoy the challenges that it brings. I look forward to working with you guys. I've been encouraging a lot of participation. A lot of people have been coming to meetings and workshops. Today, if you walked in our workshop room, you would have had brought your own chair in because there was every chair filled up. I'm getting the sense that the public is really starting to understand that they can come into meetings, whether it's a workshop or a county commission meeting, and be heard, and not just stand up at the podium for 3 minutes and sit down. I'm allowing everybody to speak. If you get up in front of me, I'm going to ask you a question. I'm not just going to let you get up there and talk for 3 minutes and turn around and sit back down. So if you guys have any questions specifically for me, some of the things we talked about today, we did talk about the Drayton Island Ferry, also the, Fort Gates Ferry was discussed, and that's down. Looks like it's going to be down until 2021. They're struggling right now getting the infrastructure put back in to create the landings. They were wanting to make them out of concrete. Now they're looking at going back to wood, but they have to find the old designs to be able to go back to that. Roads, infrastructure, it's a conversation we're having every single meeting, and the answer is the same. We don't have any more money. We're working off reserves. If we're making any repairs, yes, sir.
I didn't get to hear his presentation, but you had somebody in there who claimed he's a private citizen asking about fire service fees for the county.
Steve Barker. What he basically gave us he had a conversation about the volunteer service and how it's not working in Putnam County. There's not a lot of volunteering. That you have one fully staffed fire engine and one that's staffed with 2 men 5 days a week, no Saturdays, no Sundays, 12 hours at a time. He was encouraging the county to step up the pace and try to look at going into increasing fire service fees. And my comment to the public was simple. If you live in a fire district that has an ISO rating north of 6, you're paying a higher insurance premium. So you can pay taxes or fees, or you can pay insurance, but either way you're going to pay. So if you traded what you're paying the insurance company for fire insurance, if you trade that in for a fire fee and had a fully staffed fire service and EMS service, it would drop your insurance rates. In our case, I live in the city. I've got almost 6,000, 7,000 square feet under roof, and I pay less than $700 a year for fire insurance. If I took my house, my guest house in the county, I'd be paying almost double that. So, you know, the fee versus insurance conversation needs to be had. My advice to him is get out in the public and start educating the public, get the public on board, get the public to support you. Increasing a fire service fee is one thing. The other thing that I requested is if we're going to go in that direction, that we impanel a citizens advisory task force to take on that subject. So the citizens can drive the conversation, decide what kind of fire service we want to provide ourselves with in the future. Yes, sir.
Any new developments coming to East Palatka? I heard rumors out there about.
So I'm sure everybody heard about Ross, Coles, and all that that's going in, the new Publix. I didn't either, I'm joking. But what I did hear today regarding East Palatka, you'll find this funny, is we have an 1.5-inch nipple that broke off our water tower, and it's under pressure, and it has a strap around a plug that's holding it in place right now on a 36-inch pipe. Yes, ma'am.
What happened with the inmate Dan Martinez?
Good question. That came up today. So there was a vote. There was 4 votes to 1. You can guess who was what. My objection today was simple. I got a packet yesterday afternoon via email at 5:35. It had one of the things that were requested from the One Putnam group was some sort of deliverables. What do we get for our money? What we got was a contract that was entered into between One Putnam. Now, One Putnam is a group. It's as far as I know, there's 6 members, maybe a 7th that might have joined, but there's 6 that are listed. That's Ben Bates, Dan Martinez, Joe Pickens, Breck Sloan, Dan Martinez, and John Rowe. So they have joined forces with a company called Vibrant Community Builders, LLC, not Quint Studer. Quint Studer owns this company. The company was established on 23rd of January of this year. So my concern is I have a company called One Putnam that was formed on the 3rd of January, and another one that was formed on the 23rd of January that are engaged in a contract, but there's nothing specific in the contract. It just says that this Vibrant Community Builders LLC will be working to help establish a plan of action, but it's very vanilla, very vague. And then charging $30,000 for this. So
we gave them $7,500?
yes, you did.
Who
Yeah, not we.
signed off on
They-
that?
that would be Larry Harvey, Terry Turner, Bill Pickens, and Buddy Goddard.
I mean, that was today, right?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Previously, were we under contract with these two LLCs?
We're not under contract at all. They're asking us to provide public money so a private venture can hire another private venture to come in and somehow either educate or do a study. I don't know. There's nothing specific. I got an email from a lady yesterday, and she said, "Look, we've had study after study after study downtown done. Why do we have to spend any more money?" And so I brought the copy of that letter. All the commissioners got that. It fell on deaf ears. So I personally couldn't vote in favor of that. And looking at the history of the way Putnam County has been treated, there's been some abuse of the taxpayers' dollars and the taxpayers in the past. And it's taken place at the hands of some of the individuals that are already named. So, my radar is up, and when I asked Mr. Bates a simple question, do you have any money in the project? Dan Martinez answered, we have money in it, but he wouldn't be specific. But we're supposed to be transparent. The other question I asked him was, do you have your 501c3 status recognized by the IRS? The answer is no. Then they try to say, well, it's because John Rowe's wife has been in the hospital and that's delayed the process. But the truth is when you apply for your 501c3 with the IRS, it could take anywhere from a month to 10 months or a year. If you keep track of Lois Lerner and what the IRS did under her watch, you had conservative groups that were stretched out 24 and 36 months and never got a response from the IRS in their 501c3 status. So the same thing could happen to this group. And what they're saying is they're promising that no money will be collected or spent until they have their 501c3 status.
So
Yes,
it's
sir.
the third person, the third party that's going to do the study or whatever, they're not going to be another LLC owned by the same character.
They are. They are an LLC owned by Clint Stewart.
He owns two of them right now.
He owns about 6 or 8 of them, from what I understand, but this one is one that was just formed a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, now, if I understood you right, we're on the hook for $30,000 to go to a study group.
We, the county, $7,500, the city of Palatka, $7,500, the Chamber of Commerce, $7,500. And part of the argument that I raised today, by the way, since we're on the Chamber subject, is I have the last 990 that's posted online by the Chamber of Commerce from 2016. Their total revenue was $518,000. And of that $518,000, they spent $378,000 on salaries. That's 72% of their total income. $102,000 goes to their president, Ms. Dana Jones. It doesn't leave much money, but really what jumps off the page at me is they bring in $112,000 in 2016 in membership fees, $102,000, and the county pays them an additional $315,000 on top of that for economic and tourist development. So what I would like to see happen is for us to take that economic development money and put it into a Department of Economic Opportunity within our county, like Flagler County, St. Johns County, Clay County have done, where the economic development is done by people that work for the citizens. If you guys get a chance, I highly encourage you to go to the Flagler County Department of Economic Opportunity and look at their website. It is phenomenal. If you want to know how many citizens, what percentages are north of 65, it tells you. It has their population broken out in age groups, their graduation rates, their income rates. They lay out every reason why you should be doing business with their county. If you try to find that in Putnam County, you have to go to the Chamber of Commerce's website. You're going to find it very lacking, and that's the word that was used by the lady that runs the Flagler County Department of Economic Opportunity. She said, I'll be honest with you, I've looked at yours, and you guys are really missing a lot of data. She encouraged me to go pull our comprehensive plan's economic development element, so I did. Show of hands, how many people think our data in our economic development element is fresher than 2015? 16, 17? No, 2009. We're working on 2009 data for our economic development element of our comprehensive plan. Our housing element is in just as bad a shape. So until these things are corrected, no one in their right mind is going to come to Putnam County, take a look at our economic development element and say, oh yeah, I want to do business in Putnam County. According to that, according to that data, we should have 84,000 people living in our county today. The data is very old. It's a whole economy old. We've had a failure in the economy in 2008. The economy crashed. Our data stops in 2009. It's all butterflies and unicorns and rainbows. Yes, sir.
This will be my last question for you. But what, I know other than voting in, other commissioners are actually concerned about doing this. Some sort of accountability being added to the program and updating the information you're talking about. Us as citizens, what, is there anything we can do?
Absolutely.
Show up at one of those meetings?
Show up at the meetings, demand citizens advisory groups. We had a really robust, great conversation today about our landfill. Terry Turner's done a lot of work in the background trying to get our landfill to where it's actually a money maker and not a losing proposition. So what he was able to do today was he comes in and he says, look, if we could get an additional 500 tons of refuse brought in daily, and he has the numbers brought out across the sheet, it's going to net us about $1.7 million per year on a 20-year basis. Now we have to reline a landfill every now and then, and that's taking that into consideration. So if you bring in 1,000 tons a day, it's $2.8 million in net revenue. So the question is, what do you do with the $2.8 million? One of the things that we threw out was, what if you have a sorting facility that sorts the refuse before it goes to the landfill, so you're not compacting as much garbage? Larry Harvey threw out the term dirty MRF. That's what it's called. So you dump the garbage on the floor, you hire people, you actually create jobs. People go through and they sort and they pull up the glass and the paper and the plastics and all that, and they sort it. If Mr. Hayes was here right now, he could talk to us about the sandblasting meeting that there's a company in Tampa that's taking glass and crushing it up. Now, transporting it from Putnam County to Tampa is very expensive. But what if you had a grinding facility right here at our landfill? So some of this stuff was tossed out there as possibilities, but it was really refreshing to hear that people are interested in using our landfill to increase our airspace, and we can sell our airspace, which is very valuable. And at the end of the day, we win because our solid waste disposal fee will drop drastically. We're talking about going from $331 to probably less than $200 annually, which is nowhere close to where we are now. Yes, sir.
I'm going to say one word, evening meetings, but I don't want you to talk about that because I know where you stand.
That was brought up today, by the way.
They may want to talk about that. What is the deal? So I was at a Rotary Club meeting the other day where two commissioners were there, and they discussed this land clearinghouse thing using the Port Authority as a possible potential moneymaker for the county, things like that. I find that the reason why they justified it was it eliminates rules for selling county land. I think that's exactly the opposite direction that we need to go with selling
You
land.
had two commissioners at a meeting
Well,
discussing.
one stepped out when the other one talked, so and they did do that.
So we discussed this at our last workshop, and I challenged the county attorney to show me where it was appropriate for the Florida legislature to enable legislation that would create an end round around everything that we know is right and normal. So what Stacey Manning's contention is that we can take land that's owned by Putnam County, transfer the title to the Putnam County Port Authority. The Port Authority is not restricted in how it has to do business, so it can turn around and sell the land for $1. The Board of County Commissioners has to have public hearings to sell land valued at less than what it's for. Case in point, I voted against it. The other commissioners voted for it. They signed a sales agreement to sell that $2.47 million building that we built for $2.47 million and sold it for $750,000 and through an additional $750,000 and through an additional 3.5 acres plus or minus that comes out to St. John's Avenue at our business park. One of the things that I did today, I've gone through the contract. I'm about 2/3 way through it. I brought up a lot of issues. Least of all, at the very beginning of the contract, most contracts that you see will be by and between. It'll be by and between Putnam County, Putnam County, a body politic. Correct me if I'm wrong. And it'll also describe the buying agency. In this case, it said Camargo Quality Products. It did not say Camargo Quality Products. a corporation in New Jersey, right, a New Jersey corporation. I've tried to research the company. I cannot find them that they're actually registered in New Jersey. What I do find is that they did go in front of the Camden, New Jersey Planning Board requesting a variance. They wanted to bring in a high pressure, high volume nitrogen tank, and they were denied a variance because of the location of the facility. And this was in January of 2018. So what I believe may be going is they're looking for a new home because they can't get one out there. But there's a lot of other things. There's under the certifications and representations, reps and certs. There's reps and certs for the seller, which is us, but there's nothing for the buyer. So the buyer doesn't have to represent that they have the financial wherewithal or the ability to close the deal. But we have to represent and certify everything. I told the county attorney today, it looks to me like the contract was written unilaterally. I stopped short of saying it looks like it was written by them and sent down to us, because he tells me that he provided the form of contract, but he did not write the contract. I do have an email between he and Brian Bergen where he asked Brian Bergen to make an adjustment to the contract. Brian Bergen works at the Chamber of Commerce. He's representing the buyer. He's representing the seller. In my opinion, he's not representing us very well. If you guys want, I'll be more than happy to send you out copies of the contract with my notes on it. But what I brought up today, Bill Pickens and Terry Turner got on his high horse and said, I'm tired of hearing about this. We need to quit beating this dead horse. And I said, I'm willing to put this dead horse to bed, but I don't want to do business like this anymore. So beating the dead horse means bringing up the fact that we're doing business in a misfeasant at best and malfeasant at worst method. Big words should be scary to a county attorney if he knows what he's hearing, but the fact is, I was elected to represent the public. When I was put in front of an attorney that works for an agency called the Florida Association of Counties Trust, I sat down and looked at the attorney. Block your ears, Alex. I looked at the attorney and I said, "You must be the attorney." He says, "Yeah, how can you tell?" I said, "The way you're dressed." I didn't tell him my joke about why attorneys wear neckties. I'll tell you that later. But I'll tell you later. I said, I'm going to assume your job is to mitigate any risk that the county might put this insurance company in. He said, absolutely. And I said, by my estimation, you guys have a lot of risk in Putnam County. Because the way we're doing business, every week somebody asks a very good question, and they question how, like what you just brought up, how can you take a piece of land, transfer it to the Putnam County Port Authority just to circumvent the law that says that you can't sell it for less than it's worth? I don't know that we could do that. I asked for an Attorney General's opinion. When I contacted the Attorney General's office, I was told that it has to come from our attorney. So to answer your question over there, if you guys would start coming to meetings, press the issues, press the county attorney, make him do his job, make him explain himself.
Now let's do evening meetings.
Okay, so today evening meetings were brought up by a couple people. One of them was Mike. He's the new Boston Community Association president. He said, I'm here my time. It's 10 o'clock in the morning. He's wasting an hour of his day. When are you going to start having nighttime meetings? And my answer was, I'm in favor of it right now. None of the commissioners said a word. He got up during the public comment section. We really need to start making this an issue with the commissioners. If nighttime meetings are something you really want, they're going to have to hear from y'all. They've already heard it from me. They've heard it from me until I'm blue in the face. But Goddard's response is, we've had it at night, people don't show up. Well, that hasn't been proven to me.
Why
And
can't you do both? Why can't you alternate?
Yeah, that's.
I'm in favor of that.
I think that's a good
I think the real reason is, I don't think that they want to dedicate the time. They're saying this because it's inconvenient for staff. And you know what? When I was in the military, getting up at 2 o'clock in the morning launching aircraft on a flight deck of an aircraft carrier is inconvenient, but we did it. So I think it's just a matter of getting people to the podium and asking the dais to consider nighttime meetings. I'm 100% committed to it. You're not going to hear me waver in it. Yes, ma'am.
Rick Stearns here, he's had a few school board meetings at night, so.
How does that work for y'all?
It's all right, we're doing 4 this year, just to see how it goes. And,
Have you had any?
Yeah, we've had one in January and one's coming up in March.
What was the turnout day versus night?
Well, we had I think a couple of issues that brought a lot of people out, so we had to do turnout in January. But I'll be interested to see, how many people just run out for an ordinary meeting.
We show of hands, how many people here would come to nighttime meetings? They were nighttime meetings. So it's a majority of the room, probably 2/3. So, and to your point, it's something that needs to happen. I keep being reminded in a very loud, boisterous manner that I represent 20% of the vote, and that's it. So I need 40 more percent. If you guys can get me 40 more percent to come along with me, I don't need 5. I just need 2 more. Yes, sir.
You seem to be liking your new job.
Yeah.
What is the best part about it that you like?
Having access to all the information and not having the right pursuant to chapter 119.011 Florida statute make a request of the following information. It is so nice to just sit at my desk, click on something, and unravel 4 checks and 30 documents that back that up and know where we're spending our money and not have to wonder. Or if I have a question, being able to get up from my desk and walk in and ask somebody and then get an answer immediately. That's a really cool part. If you guys have not seen my office, that's probably the second best thing. I went in and I completely remodeled my office. I wainscoted it, built myself a new desk, actually 2 new desks, and made it very fun. It's a really cool place to hang out, and I go there and spend 5 to 6 hours at a time, 3 or 4 days a week. Anybody else?
When's your next meeting?
It's 2 weeks from today. It's the 2nd and the 4th Tuesday of every month. And we go in at 9 a.m. and then at 2 o'clock we start a workshop. If you want to see how sausage is made, you want to go to the workshop. The 9 o'clock meetings in the morning, the first part is going to be dedicated to awards and stuff like that and public comments, and we'll have our consent agenda. Not a lot happens there, but the workshop is where you can really get a good education and see what's going on in your county, and you're allowed to come and ask questions. Brett Coates is our past district governor from our Rotary Club. He's been trying to get permission for our club to redo the sign at Triangle Park, the one that says "Welcome to Putnam County." It's been in really bad shape. He's been asking for about 6 months, couldn't get an answer. He said, "What do I do?" And I said, "Come to the next workshop." He walked in there in the public comment section. He stood up and he said, "I want to take this project on." Every commissioner waved their hand. We've all agreed if we go like this, that means we give consensus. Everybody gave consensus. The sign's going to get repaired. We're going to re-landscape it, repaint it, blah, blah, blah. It took less than 3 or 4 minutes to get that done. He couldn't get an answer out of the county administrator in 5 months, and he got the answer in less than 5 minutes. Yes, sir.
For workshops, is there any way that we can get those taped and out for the public, like we do, or if we move those into the main room where they would be videotaped?
I would love to have that. Today was very uncomfortable, and there was a joke made with the fire marshal there, are we over capacity? He says, for the building, no, for the room, yeah. But there wasn't a vacant seat in the place, and last time we had a workshop, we were bringing folding chairs in for people.
I mean, just because the majority of us can't be there at 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Right.
And if it was out there, we could watch what you guys are doing,
Yeah.
like you said, how the sausage is made, so to speak.
I keep looking at this camera every time we have a meeting here, and I keep needing to buy one. I'd be willing to record them, and if somebody gives one of the camera, if they would know how to put it up on YouTube.
There are some of the meetings on.
He knows.
No, the workshops.
The workshop meetings, yeah.
The workshops are where everything's really discussed.
Yeah.
The meetings are the
They what?
Yeah.
They don't record it. They're in a tiny room.
It's a digital recorder, it doesn't take up any space.
They record them. They record audio, but not video. What Paul's want to know is can he watch a video?
What's the video we see when we're in there during the morning meetings?
That's not where we have our workshop. Our workshop is in a room about 1/15 that size. It's
Why don't
tiny.
you have the workshop in the big room?
Great question. I don't know. I've asked it several times. They've told me that it's inconvenient for the IT people that have to run the recording equipment. I agree. Again, this is where if
They don't want anybody walking in.
if one person would just walk up to the podium and ask the question, I'll take the question and run with it, and force the county administrator to tell us why it's inconvenient, or, you know, if it's gonna cost more money, let's spend the money, but then you could participate virtually in these meetings.
Aren't the employees told before they accept the job about evening? I mean, when I was town clerk at town secretary at Pomona Park, I knew before I accepted the job that I had to go to evening meetings. And, you know, if you're gonna accept the job, then you accept the job, whatever the job entails.
I agree.
So, I mean, I don't understand, well, it's inconvenient. Excuse me?
Well, I was a firefighter paramedic for 10 years, and I was in the Navy for 4 years, and military school before that, so
Yeah.
I don't know what inconvenience is.
Inconvenience is part of the job. If you're gonna pay for it, do it.
Yes, sir.
Sonny Harrell used to tape all the VOCC meetings and some of the workshops, and he doesn't do it anymore. Do you know what happened to him? Why he's not doing it? They would replay them on the church's TV station.
I know that the BOCC meetings are recorded by the IT staff. There's a recording booth, and they usually have the videos up within 1 or 2 days. I'll ask the question tomorrow. I'll pose it to Terry Suggs and ask him why they're not recorded and what it would take to get them recorded. And
Sonny used to sit up on that far wall over there, say this camera up here, and record right there.
the room we're talking about is not as wide as this room. It's probably about 25% less the width of this and half the length. It's not a big room.
So like if me, Alex, and Johnny co-count showed up, we fill it?
There's enough room. What I don't understand is the staff sits at the table in the big comfortable chairs. The chairs that line the walls look very uncomfortable. They're hard bottom, and they don't look very inviting, I guess is the word I'm looking for.
That's because you're not invited. They don't want to be invited.
Yes, ma'am. The county what? The county archives? Like the clerk of court's office?
No, from the library. The library.
That would be the old bank is the tax collector's office. Is that what you're talking about? Oh. The building next to the elections office is Lee Conley House's administration office, as far as I know. That's the old bank. I plead ignorance. I don't know anything about that. Y'all stumped me.
Good.
Anything else? Thank you very much, and I really do appreciate the opportunity to bring you guys up to speed. I'll be here all week.